Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
And a wonderful morning to you. This is Newsline, live as always from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo and broadcasting on TV1. It's also available on Facebook and on www.tv1.lk. Press the live button. And this morning, we've got so much to discuss. The Umaoya project, dengue and the collection of garbage, the proposed draft Media Act, the World Capital Center, fake news or real investors, who knows? And the 500 million advance paid for the Agriculture Ministry, and the list is on and on. To discuss this is a member of the JVP, Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa. A very good morning to you, Dr. Jayatissa.
Good morning.
And thank you very much for coming on the show. Long way to get here, but there's not much traffic in the morning, is there?
Yes.
Now then, Doctor, let me ask you. The JVP seems to be at least making the right sort of noises and asking the right questions and trying to hold people accountable and responsible. What is your reaction to a very pressing problem, especially when we also have a drought and so on in some parts and floods in the other? The Umaoya project. Why is it that these people, the residents of the area, even though the project is supposed to be 80% completed, there are, according to some reports, 7,000 plus people who need rehousing or compensation for their homes that have been damaged? Are they waiting for another disaster to happen, or are they going to be a bit proactive?
Yes, the protests begin not recently.
Yeah.
I know that since 2008 there were big protests and demonstrations again only in this area.
Yeah.
But the government officials, they didn't put any attention.
Yeah.
To this to the disastrous this project. I know our Badura district leader Samantha Vidyaratna.
Yeah.
He made that issue several times, even in the parliament. But they proceed the project. Now you know that more than 7,000 houses damaged,
Yeah.
and more than 3,000 water resources lost in this area.
Like wells and so on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now we have to take immediate action to safeguard the people, property and these water sources. And at the same time, we think that we have to investigate what happened in last 7 years. Because
not Dr. Nalinda, not another investigation. Aren't
Yes.
you tired of all these investigations? Nothing's happening. Absolutely nothing's happening.
even in presidential commissions,
Now they've
can't
closed
say-
the anti-corruption unit. But
Yes.
anyway, let's keep
Yes.
going on about Umaoya. The point is, you know, in Egypt, the temple of Abu Simbel, when they were doing the Assam Dam, all those years ago, and it took a hard man to come and start the project, Gamal Abdel Nasser. He made the final decision. And the 2,500 then years old temple of Abu Simbel was drowned in the water. They've now got another one, but that was made by them, 150 meters below. That's progress. But we also need progress. But surely the government knew about this project before, and the local authorities there don't seem to have done anything about rehousing these people, paying them compensation. Why is it that they're so lethargic and they don't care?
actually we need water project to supply water to this Velavai Monragal area.
Yeah.
It's a different story. Anyway, this is the style of this government, this so-called joint government.
What, to ignore the problem?
They are not keen on these public issues. They are waiting up to huge demonstrations. Otherwise, they knew the story, because at 2015 January, this project completed only 16%. At that time, they formed a ministerial committee chaired by Ravi Karunayaka. But by this committee, they took the decision to suspend only for 3 months. Then they continued as port city. So they had a chance to minimize the damage, but they didn't do anything.
Well, we are told that there is a Swiss national who is an engineer, who's a sort of specialist in these matters, and whose company that he works for also worked on the Gotthard tunnel in Switzerland. That tunnel is 57 kilometers long, and they put it this way: the water that's diverted from that tunnel is now they've got a fish farm. I mentioned that because it indicates the cleanliness of the water and the way it's all done. But now that expertise, those people are here, and as the President rightfully said the other day, they are helping the Mahaviri authority to try and get to the bottom of this and try and plug the leaks and so on. But those people, that's the project and the lead.
Yes.
That's the technical part. But the real part, the real life story, the human part, is that these people don't have water. Yes. So then they don't. So it's obvious that they're not going to stop this project. But what about these people? They don't have to continue to suffer. They need to be relocated. What are you all doing about it? What's the JVP doing about it?
No, from the beginning, we demanded from the government, actually, please assess this project, especially the environmental assessment, but they didn't do. So now, at least we need expert opinion, especially the environmentalist and these experts in geology, because now we have to go beyond these political decisions.
Well, you know, this network, we exposed these shortcomings. We're the first to expose this. It doesn't mean that we don't want progress. We want professionalism.
Yes.
That's all we want.
Yes.
Because whenever professionalism falls down, the impact is on the poorest of the poor. Last week, it was the start of our government, the 1,000 projects. And I went to a rather rural place off Padavia. What struck me was this, that here these people were struggling just to get a water filtration plant there. But it struck me, and it continues to strike me all the time, that if the government addressed wide-scale corruption, start on the top, and collected the monies that were due to them, legitimately due to the government, instead of cutting deals the whole time, then, rather like the Mahavali River, this money could be diverted all around the country to help to pay for these sort of projects, which will help. So instead, the person who suffers the most due to the corruption and the wastage and so on, and the friends' power. In the last government, it was family power. In this government, it is the friends' power.
Yes.
Right? So between that, if they had that money, the people of these rural areas where we need development so seriously, we need development, there will be more money to help them.
Yes, I think this government has money. There's money.
Of course.
Otherwise, they would have not pay 307 million to the agriculture minister building.
Yes, 500 million according to the Daily Mail this morning, and advance to an unoccupied building.
Yes, that is only for rental.
Well, and then the government has also agreed to pay a monthly rental of 15.07 million and a service charge of 6.1 million. though the government estimate was 13.5 million a month.
Yes, that is rental is altogether. I asked at the parliament from from the media minister. He answered.
Yeah.
At that time, the rental was 21 million.
Yeah.
21 million. Yes, 21 million. So for last 15 months, they paid nearly 307 million.
In complete pure wastage.
Yes. And now they are borrowing light property from China, because this building made for the shopping complex, not for the ministerial building. So this building can't bear the heavy equipments or tables or chairs. So they have to.
So they have to redo the whole thing to make it an office.
Yes, and they have no parking. They have not enough lift space. Or
the owner of this building, was he? Do you think that he supported one of the two main parties in this government?
Maybe. Otherwise, when I asked, when the agriculture deputy minister answered my question yesterday, the cabinet paper submitted by the prime minister, there was no tender procedure. Without tender, they have submitted this project to this DP purchasing company.
But on the 30th of March 2015, the Prime Minister, Ranil Wickremesinghe, at that time he would have been the third time Prime Minister, the third time round, because it was in August, he became the fourth time round. But the three times experienced Prime Minister wrote a letter to all the ministries and said that as a matter of policy, unsolicited offers should not be entertained. It's under his signature. We exposed that letter during that period. And 3 weeks after that, he awards a road contract he doesn't give any reasons, because he thinks that we all know these things without an explanation. And that was an unsolicited bid. There was no tender. There was no request for proposal. In this case, it seems to be the same thing.
He is performing totally against his words at the elections, his promises. He is breaking himself.
What's the JVP going to do? Are you going to enter into a... I mean, you know, of all your good intentions, on a practical and reality situation is that it is highly unlikely that the JVP will form a government on its own. So therefore, some people say, well, it's easy for them to shout because they're not going to form a government. But you all have helped to form this government. Actually, you all also helped to form the last government with Mr. Rajapaksa.
Actually, we didn't help to form this government in last general election. We supported to defeat Mahinda Rajapaksa. So
that's a bit like saying your car is half full or half empty of petrol, right? Same thing. You have the president, you have this government.
We contested as JVP in 2015 August, and we are sitting in the opposition.
Right.
So we want to expose, especially the UNP leadership, because they were not in the government for last 20 years, and there's public opinion that if UNP government comes, the investments are coming, the business are going ahead, and
that's right. That's right.
Earlier.
Yes, but after 20 years, they've forgotten how to do it.
Yes.
Right? And so now they're doing it and they're collecting money themselves. That's the public perception. That's what they say in the cocktail circuits. And not only the cocktail circuits, you go anywhere, the people are saying they must be making money. Well, and the other day somebody told me, this was when I went to Padavi, they said, look, if there was no money, they won't be fighting. Obviously, this is this man telling me, obviously he said there must be money. That's why they're all fighting. That's why one minister wants this board and the other minister wants that. And that's because there's something.
Foreign minister wants the lotteries for the
It's not because they've got ants in their pants, okay? There is something else.
Yes.
Bertie Premalal Dissanayake, God bless him, he told me one day that we all know why the cricket board is so important to some business people. He said, why are they leaving their businesses and coming here? He says there must be some motive. He said the real people who run the cricket board, or who want to run the cricket board, are not coming forward because they're fed up. I know certainly one person who's fed up long years ago, but who helped to bring Sri Lanka to test status and so on. And if he wanted, he could sponsor the entire cricket team. But such people lost faith in the system because it became so corrupt and they didn't want any part of it. It's the same thing here. There must be money. But what's the JVP going to do about it? I mean, what about this media, the new proposed media council? Have you read that, the draft proposal?
Yes, I know that. This discussion started nearly 1.5 years. So they tried to implement just after the forming this new government, but majority of the media against that. So now, but they are trying again. This is one way of suppressing media. And in one hand, they introduced the Right to Information Act, but if they implement these laws to media, this is totally against the Right to Information Act. I think when every government can't solve the problems of the public, they can't do something to economic progress, this is the way every government
reacts.
Is react.
Let's hit the media.
Yes.
Great punching bag.
Now they are hitting the trade unions, student unions and demonstrators. The next step is media. So
but we're ready, because we've got a lot of experience. We've got Claymore bombs thrown at us, so what more can, we're ready. We've never needed the RTI and all sorts of acts. But one of the most important cornerstones of independent journalism, they are trying to take it out of the back door. And that is, they're trying to force us to disclose our sources. All over the world, all over the democratic world, government after government, judiciary after judiciary, has upheld the right of journalists to protect their sources. There is no way on earth that they're going to introduce something through the back door. This is the kind of underhand work that this government is doing.
If the journalists are exposing the source, how they can proceed? I mean, I don't know. You know that during the 19th Amendment, they tried to implemented some articles against media.
That's right, and
especially against.
That's right, and thanks to us, that was dropped because we were already. Our legal team, led by our group legal director, was all ready to do this. And so it was stopped. But, we have to be vigilant all the time. All the time. We have to be mindful of what these people are trying to do through the back door. It was like the Prime Minister at the time, if you remember, during the run-up to the 19th Amendment, they called it the court diversion, because the Prime Minister was trying to accumulate power to himself to the detriment of the presidency. So, we have to be careful. But, these matters seem to be going on, Dr. Justice. We had the Volkswagen. I call it the Volkswagen the facility. Then the tire factory. Then now we have something called the World Capital Center. Now they say that the investment has been approved, but we want to know where the land is and who is this person. All of a sudden, they're coming out here. We've hardly heard of these people. And they're here. And what do you mean by approving the investment? Have they checked to see they've got so much money? What's going on?
Now this, that President completed 2.5 years. The government is completing almost 2 years. They always tell the people that this is the government attracting more investment.
But it's all rubbish.
Yes,
all
rubbish.
All those people, most of them are Sri Lankans.
I think this similar happens to this this fake investment.
That's the question I would like to know. Somebody sent me a message last night when we told them what they're going to do, what we're going to do on the program this morning. And one of them asked me, is this a real investment or is this fake news?
Maybe.
You know, under the last Minister of Finance, Ravi K, I remember very clearly that then Governor Mahendran came back from Saudi Arabia and he said that billions of dollars of investment will flow from Saudi Arabia. Yes. What absolute tosh. Not even $100 million has come in. People are not going to just distribute their money just because our governor says so. Well, where's the follow-up? There's nothing.
You know, whenever Prime Minister arrives from after the International Donor Conference or these economic summits, he always tries to tell the country that these investments are flowing to the country. But we can't see any investment. Only this voice and the boosting, nothing else.
Perhaps, why can't the Prime Minister, Dr. Justice, why can't the Prime Minister take a leaf out of Singapore's Prime Minister? When there was a problem amongst his family, he put out a statement. And he acknowledged that they had a family problem, but that has nothing to do with this, yes. And he was quite open. So he cut all the speculation. Why can't the Prime Minister say, look, this is what I went for, this is what's happening, and then put out a press statement later on when it actually happens?
I think our political culture does not develop at that level. Though the Prime Minister and the UNP leadership tries to show that they are very genuine and they are transparent, but their practice is very much opposite to that their words.
Yes, I find that what you're saying is absolutely true, because the words that come out of PM's mouth and the actions that follow are two different matters. Yeah. It doesn't seem right. You know, we've covered all these issues, but what's the JVP doing? Do you think, what is the political landscape looking at it? I wanted to say this to you. Over the years, even though when the UNP were at its lowest level, and after following the death of Governor Newsfirst and so on, even at that election, they managed around 30% of the vote. Okay, and if you even with when Sarath Fonseca was their candidate, they got a little bit more than that. So it looks like that's the level, around the 30%. The same 30% plus or minus 10%. Then the same for the SLFP. Now that has been split. Okay, so in a potential next election scenario, yes. It looks like there's going to be 30-30-30, plus or minus 10. So at the end of the next election, we're going to be left with the same problem. How can we change that? Is that how you read it?
Yes, we can change it. You see, these two leaders, President and Prime Minister, they are targeting the next 2020 presidential election.
Right.
But now the UNP leadership knows very well that they can't do anything in this economic progress or economic development.
They robbed it.
Yes. His strategy is, his only strategy is splitting the SLFP, supporting the Rajapaksa group, hide the corruptions and his allegations. He allows to do the politics to this Rajapaksa faction, and he is trying to hit the SLFP, nothing else. So he is trying to get this advantage, and he aims to win the election by doing this. So this is not for the country.
But yesterday, the Mahanayakas, that was a very interesting, very important It was like a handbrake, what they said. They said, we don't need a new constitution.
Yes, if the people doesn't want the new constitution, we can continue. But they made a promise to abolish this executive presidency. They have to do it.
But right now, isn't the executive presidency at least acting as the handbrake when the government is running amok?
No, he's not using his powers even in this major issues.
The monarchies, they've come and pulled the handbrake because they're saying, listen, we don't need this. This is a freewheeling government. What on earth are they doing? They are concerned, and they're concerned for the people because they can see that at least somebody has to act.
No, to form the new constitution, first from the government side, they have to put forward at least a draft.
Yeah.
The discussions are going on.
Yeah.
But no definite end to this discussion.
Yeah.
I think, in my view, they are targeting the international donors, not the Sri Lankan people, though the democracy or the well-governance of Sri Lanka. But they are showing that they are trying to form a new constitution to get some donations and investments.
See, I've got a question from one of our viewers who's asking who's behind all this trouble. Is it Emma? Is Emma behind all this? Is he pulling the strings behind?
In some extent.
Because some of these problems are all his.
Yes.
Umawaya,
Yeah.
the garbage, Mitatamullah.
Yes.
The GMOA issue. It's all him.
All three major issues, Saitam, Umaoya and Mitotamulla, the issues arised in Rajapaksa period.
And now he's sitting back and having a laugh.
Yes. But you can see this government, they are continuing all these issues and they have no solutions. The responsible ministers in previous government, they are sitting in this government holding ministerial portfolios, and now they are talking the opposite.
Yeah.
But I think that we need expert opinions to solve these problems beyond the political solutions. Political directives need to implement the solution, not to initiate the solutions. So, especially the Umaoya, the Saitam and dengue issue, we can't see anything government is doing, only they are talking.
There's a popular saying, but I can't say it on television. It's all talk and no something. Well, I can't say it on television, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And everybody else knows. And will the JVP ever form an alliance with any of the factions, the SLFP or the breakaway SLFP?
No.
I don't want to say, but okay,
Yes.
joint opposition. Will they ever form?
Never. Because we know that what they have done for last 10 years to the country, they are the most corrupted people in this political scenario. So we don't want to make any alliance with them.
Yeah.
Though in the failure of this government, anyway we don't allow to them to come to the power.
And as we wrap up, we have some changes. We have Colonel Sena Hetiarachi who's going to Germany, and Kapila Vaidyaratna. We welcome his appointment as the Secretary of Defence. Of course, he's an old Thomian and a very upright man of great integrity and so on. It's a little bit more difficult to understand why Mr. Fernando has been wheeled in, but that basically we have an appointment of Rohit Bogulanama, and we are puzzled. The public will continue to be puzzled because his track record isn't anything great.
Yes.
We know what he did when he was the foreign minister, and we know how much of a spending binge he went on. And so therefore, his appointment, my colleague Bandula was quite right. He wouldn't acknowledge that. We do the same on this program. But is there hope? Is there hope for the people?
No. They have to wait next 3 years. I think the same continue up to 2020. Nothing will happen. We can see the disputes, fights among the joint government, these two parties. But I don't think that no major economic development or even progress in the democracy or these reforms, they will continue up to 2020.
So it's going to be
with using all the facilities in the government.
So we're going to be like a car with a missing engine. It's going to stop and start, stop and start.
We need a real engine now.
We need a real engine. Well, let's hope that the JVP will try and provide the real engine. Dr. Nalinder Jayatissa, thank you very much for being on Newsline. We appreciate your presence. And that's it that's the way it is on Wednesday, July the 5th, 2017 from Newsline. Take care. God bless.